Hi there, this is YGO 5D's Decade Duels for the Xbox 360. It's Kai back speaking with his second deck recipe, which I'm going to have as, sorry, Dragunity Assault Mode deck is what I'm going to be doing. Sorry, I just realised how weirdly official I was trying to be, which is not really me at all. This deck is actually one of my favourite decks to run at the moment, and it's just so much fun. The only problem with it is that a lot of people will rage as soon as they see Stardust Assault Mode, which is kind of funny, and that is becoming so popular, even though it's one of the new cards. Let me start off by saying that I already know that there is different ways, or probably better ways, to make an Assault Mode deck. However, I love Dragunity, so I've made a deck that runs specifically well with Dragunity and Assault Mode Stardust. So here we go. Let me start with the monsters. Assault Beast, which is self-explanatory. Got 3 of these. They also double as a beater if you need them. However, you can discard one of these guys to get Assault Mode activate from your deck to your hand, which is always useful. Because majority of the time, your opening hand should be able to synchro summon. That's a great thing about Dragunity. I've got Dandelion as a good synchro monster. Also, I run him a lot with Foolish Burial just to get to 1-star monsters on the field. You never know when you might need them. That could also be good for synchros like Mistworm and everything else. I run 1 Dragunity Dark Spear. Before I made a Dragunity deck and I ran more of him, but I found that, well, if he's equipped to Dragunity Beast, he's not really that useful. However, it does work alright as a 3-star monster, and you can sacrifice him once you play him to summon 1-winged beast monster from your graveyard, which is good with my accuracy attacks, which I'll go into later on. I run 3 Dragunity Dukes. I think it's Dukes. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, but when you've got one of the other Dragunities, which I'll be showing you later, in your graveyard, you can summon him from the graveyard attached to this card, and then you can use it as a synchro. So one of these cards are basically what you need, as well as Dragunity Legionnaire. And these cards here are going to work well with these 3 cards. You need one of these in your graveyard for any of these to work. Basically, it's an instant either 5-star or 6-star monster from your synchro. So these are going to be like your main cards here. You've got 1 Flying Chimeric. Honestly, half these YGO cards I don't know how to pronounce, so I apologize. But I've got him just so I can search out any wind-based monster in my deck, which isn't a lot of them. Like like any of these cards, any wind monster attribute, any of these guys, I can summon them instantly. If I need Icarus attack, or if I need a tuner, anything like that. I also have 3 Mist Valley soldiers, which are also very useful as 4-star tuners. These run well with, for example, Mind Control. And then obviously you've got your 2 Stardust Dragon Assault Mode cards. I don't want to run any more than 2, because I find that if I run more than 2 I'll probably get more of a chance of drawing them, which is pretty bad. Also Summoner's Monk, which is useful for, well, I don't need to explain it, but if you discard a magic card, you can instantly summon any 4-star monster in your deck, which is good for Mist Valley. And we've got 3 then, so basically if you get this guy on the field, discard 1 magic card from your hand, you can summon any of these 4-star level tuners and instantly get a Stardust Dragon out of the field, which is obviously what you're wanting to do from a Assault Mode deck. That's it for pretty much the monsters. Again, I know that there's easier ways probably to get a 8-star tuner, but I run different synchro monsters in my deck, so it doesn't. So yeah, it works. I don't know. I think it works out pretty well. As for magics, I've got 1 Assault Teleport, which just in case I actually do end up drawing a Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, I can get them in my deck and get some more cards out. 1 Brain Control. The thing about this deck is that I use it a lot to steal other people's monsters to use them as my synchro monsters. Well, for my synchro monsters. And that's basically what this deck kind of runs like. 2 Foolish Burials, just in case I either need Dragunity Dukes in my graveyard or Dandelion to get the synchro material. 1 Heavy Storm, I'm going to explain that. 1 Instant Fusion. Again, depending on what tuner monster I have in the field, if I have Dragunity Palax or Miss Valley Soldier, I can easily use that fusion card to get Flame Swordsman or Dark Fire Dragon on the field, which is used for synchro material. Again, for a Stardust Dragon or anything other one that you use. Lightning Vortex, so let me explain that. Free main controls, as I said previously, when used my opponent's monster is synchro material most of the time. They just help you. Monster bar, don't need to explain that. Reload. Recently I've been having some pretty bad hands with decks, which is a shame, so I'll put reload just in case I have Dragon Assault mode in my in my deck. In my hand even, sorry. Yeah, so if I have him in my hand, I can easily use reload to get him back in my deck. Scapegoat, again, for synchro material. So basically, normally I can use Scapegoat on my opponent's turn to get 4 Scapegoats, and I can use him with either Miss Valley Soldier or anything else. And then I've got so someone activate, so I don't believe that I should probably run anymore. I tried running 3 of them, but then I ended up drawing them a lot of the time when they were dead hands. Bottomless Trapple, again, I run 2 of them because they're always useful. 1 Dark Bribe. I was going to put a Solemn Judgment in my deck, but then I thought I don't really believe in giving up 4,000 or half my life points in general, just to negate an effect. I guess it is useful and it has saved my life before when I have put them in decks, but I just believe that Dark Bribe is a lot better. Divine Wrath. A lot of people have been using this type of deck, so Divine Wrath is pretty much Stardust Dragon. That's not much weakness. So if I have one of them, then and plus every monster that anyone ever runs is 9 times out of 10 an effect monster, so you can never go wrong with a Divine Wrath. I also have 2 Icarus attacks, which run with any of my Miss Valley Soldiers and any of my Dragunitys, and it's very useful, especially if you first turn, for example, you have one of these and you have these guys. You can just get rid of their 2 cards. It's this. I don't really need to explain how much of an advantage that is, but I love using those cards. And 1 Mirror Force. That's it for the main deck. I mean, if you guys have any, if you think any other cards would actually probably work better in this deck, then feel free. I only recently put Summoner's Monk in it, which is probably really stupid of me, but it works out pretty well in this deck as well. So, as for draws, you can get the ratio on bad draws is probably 30% of the time you get a bad draw, which I know sounds pretty high, but when you get a good draw, it's always good. It's always good to let your opponent go first as well, because as I said, a lot of the time you're stealing their monsters as synchro material to get your Stardust Dragon out in the field, which, believe it or not, you'll see in the example duel that I'll have posted. As for extra, I put any 4-star level fusion monster and any 5-star level fusion. I just wanted a Flame Swordsman for whatever reason, just because it's an old school card. I use Ally Justice, it's like 2 Ally Justice cards here, Castrator and Defensive Armor. You're able to get any of these synchro monsters. You will at one point be able to summon them. I use Army Arm. I use 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Bryonic. Getting a 6-star synchro monster is actually very easy. You can normally always do it in your first turn. 1 Dark Strike Fighter, 1 Golden Guardian, 1 Misty Worm, 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, 2 Stardust Dragons. I'll probably, in one duel, I'll probably never summon any more than 2 Stardust Dragons. So, I still believe in putting 3 in. I have 1 Tyrant Dragon, because there has been opportunities where I've got a Stardust Dragon on the field, and I have 1 Dragunity Knight, and I'm able to summon this guy, so, I just put him in my deck for that reason. But yeah, that's it for this deck. It runs really fairly high pace. Beforehand, I never used to have assault modes in it, and then just used to go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this deck comes in useful for you in the future, and yeah, more decks coming up soon, so stay tuned, and I shall catch you guys later.